Our constitutional journey did not stop then, and it must not stop now, Judge. And we'll be faced with equally consequential decisions in the 21st century. Can a microscopic tag be implanted in a person's body to track his every movement? There's actual discussion about that. You will rule on that, mark my words, before your tenure is over. Can brain scans be used to determine whether a person is inclined toward criminality or violent behavior? You will rule on that. And, Judge, I need to know whether you will be a justice who believes that the constitutional journey must continue to speak to these consequential decisions, or that we've gone far enough in protecting against government intrusion into our autonomy, into the most personal decisions we make.
For the days shall come upon thee that thine enemies shall cast a trench about thee, and compass thee round, and keep thee on every side, and shall lay thee even with the ground, and thy children within thee, and they shall not leave in thee one stone upon another, because thou knewest not the time of thy visitation. Luke chapter 19, verse 43 and 44. Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha Kodash. Double honors to our venerable apostles and elders of Great Millstone who were well, and peace and blessings to the Lord's elect, the house of David. All right, so Brother Haran coming back at you with another lesson, and lo, will and be edifying and uplifting unto the elect. All right, and just scrolling through the news articles here, and I came across this one here, which is titled, How the Government Plans to Monitor, Score, and Control You Through Digital Wearables. Okay, and I believe, about say 2-3 weeks now, there was an announcement by RFK Jr., okay, who basically came out and exposed himself and the plans of the elites, all right, in regards to this coming beast system / NWO system. Okay, and in that exposing he did, whether he knows it or not, basically admitted to the fact that they are working on trackable devices that are going to be put on people. All right, now we here at Great Millstone, starting our elders and apostles of Great Millstone down, all right, we've been saying that all this stuff that they're doing, all this technological advancements leads to the fulfillment of the book of Revelation, 13th chapter that goes into the mark of the beast. Okay, now the mark of the beast is, again, we always emphasize the importance of that prophecy because it's fast approaching. Not only is it fast approaching, it's something that's going to affect everyone on the face of the earth. Okay, because when you go into the prophecy, it makes it very clear that it's going to be a trial / a test / temptation. Okay, that is going to befall the whole entire world and the inhabitants thereof. Okay, that you're going to be presented with this one last offered cup, and those who take it, you know what's coming after that. Okay, and it's going to be done through deceptive means. Okay, coercion, deception, and so on and so forth. But ultimately, everything we're seeing now, they starting off talking about wearables. We know that foundation, all right? And then once they lay that foundation, we know what comes after that. Okay, so it says here, concerns about the potential misuse of these devices, according to a Zero Hedge article published on July 16, 2025, titled The Wearables Trap, How the Government Plans to Monitor, Score, and Control You. This plan, promoted under the Make America Healthy Again campaign, could transform wearables into instruments of surveillance, eroding bodily autonomy and privacy. Okay, remember they said you will own nothing and you'll be happy. All right, all this stuff that they've been doing, that's being put out in the forefront of the world over the past 5 years alone, is something they've been building in the background for years. A lot of people were just blessed enough to hear the prophets tell them these things before they happened. A lot of people called it conspiracy theories and so on and so forth, but yeah, so conspiratorial that it's all happening, right? So all that, the theory part has kind of like dropped a little bit, and now everybody's up to game on what is known as the New World Order. All right, it's become a common knowledge thing. Everybody knows about it, and people are just going about their lives just, oh yeah, it's a New World Order that's coming. Yeah, we know about it. It's like a mainstream household thing. A decade ago, if you say New World Order, it was a conspiracy theory. Now it's an actual thing that even Joe Biden said was it in his last term. He said it. Now there's a New World Order out there, and we got to be the ones to head it, basically. Okay? New World Order, New World Order, New World Order. What's that all about? Okay? This is what it's about. The New World Order, this is what it's about. All right? Complete control. It says the article argues that Kennedy's vision, which aims to have every American is in quotes, okay? Every American, in other words, causeth all. Always remember that. They're not coming for, of course they'll pitch it like, it's just for the sick people and old people and so on and so forth, but that's just the Trojan horse, so to speak. That's just the gateway, okay, that they're going to take, all right, the entrance, so to speak, all right, and then after that, once they get into the house, through the doorways, it's over with, all right. The hardest part is getting into the door. You got to find the right keys, and you got to open it, and then sometimes the lock might be a little, funny. You got to get a sweet spot, you know what I mean? Next thing you know, boom, the door is open. See? So they've been trying different keys. Now they finally got to the master key, and they're like, yeah, now we're about to open this door. Okay? And once they get through that door, you know what's coming. All right, you know what's coming. It says, the article argues that Kennedy's vision, which aims to have every American wearing biometric health tracking devices within 4 years, is a deceptive maneuver. Okay? It states RFK's wearable plan is just the latest iteration of the bait and switch marketed as freedom built as a cage. These devices, capable of tracking metrics like heart rate, glucose levels, sleep patterns, and activity, collect vast amounts of intimate data, including indicators of stress, depression, and early illnesses. Okay? And they show you these things in the movies where, a family needs assistance, so they end up, getting this AI thing in their house. And of course, at first, it seems like something pretty cool and it's very helpful. It's, it's assisting you and everything like that, right? And I guess to a point where this thing is like, yo, I don't want this in my house no more because it knows too much. It's like it just gathers information on you 24/7. And it uses that information not to your benefit, but to the benefit of those who created that device. Okay? So you sit in your house, you telling this damn device, turn off the lights. It gathers that information. It keeps that information and it sends it over. Okay, you turn off the lights at this time of the day. Alexa, turn the music on. Or Alexa, what's the time of the day? Or the more you do that, the more data is gathering. The more questions you're asking, the more information it has on you. And also psychologically, they know, okay, well, the more you depend on these gadgets, the less aware you are. Because in your mind, this thing takes care of everything for you. Why should you care if you have a machine that pretty much does everything for you upon command? Right? So that's another conditioning method that people don't even pay attention to. Right? And it happens to all of us. When you have these devices that quote unquote are smart, they make you dumb. Okay, and if you're not careful, if you depend too much on these so-called smart gadgets, all right, you bore yourself into a hole that you can't get out of. All right, and those who are unfortunate, all right, to not have the Spirit of the Lord on them, okay, or Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai in their corner, or in this case, leading them in this valley of dry bones, all right, the valley of the shadow of death, America, okay, they're all going to end up being misled and deceived and taking that seat, thinking it's going to be a convenient thing, thinking, if I take it, then I'm part of the system that they're trying to create. Therefore, it keeps me safe. That's the peace and safety. They're going to push that shit all the way. If you take this, then it's going to keep you safe. Look at all the crime that's around us. Look at all the uncertainty that's going on. Look at the war talk that's going on every day. You got sleeper cells. They can attack your city at any time. You got illegal monster migrants going around shooting people in the face, messing things up. You got to protect yourself. This is why we need to have a tracking system to know who's doing what, where, and how, and when, and so on and so forth. And people are they're gonna buy this thing up. Okay, without even considering what this thing possibly could be or do, especially when you couple it with AI. Right? A lot of people are not even paying attention to that. But anyway, it says here, while presented as empowering individuals to take control of their health, The initiative raises fears of a surveillance state where personal data becomes a tool for control. And that's exactly what it's created for. Okay? It's not just gathering your information to read it back to you. It's gathering information to use it for other purposes that you may not agree with. But when you agree to those terms and conditions, you've already agreed to it. All right? Whether you like it or yes, you've already agreed to it. You've given them permission to do whatever they will with that information that they're gathering on you. Okay? And to opt out nowadays, to opt out of these things is like you're automatically enrolled in it. And if you're not aware, it's just going to be there every day, just gathering information on you. But if you dare to find out, oh, this was going on, let me reverse it or let me opt out. They put you through such a strenuous process just to opt out. You got to go research this, look this up, find this link, click on that, fill this out, do this. And it's all done by design. If you want to get out of the system, they make it so hard, damn near impossible. All right? Damn near impossible. You'd be like, wait, how is this? That's the system. It's called PIT for a reason. It's a system. Okay? You're entangled with spider webs all over the place. You can't get out of it. You know, you could move, but you just can't get out. All right? And they're going to make it even worse when the CHIP comes out. Okay? It says, the Zero Hedge piece highlights the broader implications of this data collection, noting that wearables sorted, interpret it, and feed it into systems that make high-stakes decisions about your life. Whether you get insurance coverage, whether your rates go up, whether you qualify for employment or financial aid. And this is all the building of the social credit system. Okay? It's not that hard to see, man. It's really not. All right? It says it references an ABC News report citing a JAMA article that warns insurers could use wearable device or wearable data to deny coverage or increase premiums based on metrics like calorie intake or blood pressure. Okay? This is exactly what they show you in all these sci-fi movies, man. Like I was saying earlier, this AI thing comes into your house to help you out. Next thing you know, it becomes like you're a prison guard or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, like I'm a prisoner in my own house. Like this motherfucker locks the fridge. So I can't open the fridge because it's telling me that I've eaten 1,500 calories for the day. So I'm done. Like, nigga, you know what I'm saying? Like, people are going to get mad when this thing is finally, fully fleshed out. You know, when it finally reaches its destination of complete control, these fools who end up taking this and biting, taking the bait, they're going to be so pissed and they're going to regret it. All right. They're going to regret it. But guess what? It's going to be too late, man. It's going to be way too late. You're not going to have enough time to actually, comprehend the fact that you done given up your whole life. Okay. And you have no choice. Most people are not going to have a choice, man. That's why they're going to fall and fail during the time of temptation. Okay. When there's no food, there's no shelter, you're going to have to sell out. Okay. You're going to have to sell out. You're going to have to pledge something for something else. That's how this thing is going to play out. Okay. Esau is not playing. Why do you think they're eroding the states little by little, man? You could get hit with either the direct energy weapons. All right. Next thing you know, your house is on fire out of nowhere. Nobody can explain it. The trees next to your house are fine, but your house is gone. All right. I was speaking to a couple of people yesterday, and they were saying that they used to live in Florida. All right. And they left Florida to come up here, upstate and so on and so forth, because over there, they know what's coming. And I said this in the beginning of the year. I said, yo, through the spirit, Miami's going to get rocked this year. Okay, them so-called hurricanes and crazy ass weather, that Florida is going to be a mess. And she confirmed it because she said insurance companies on homes are starting to basically leave people hanging. They're like, we can no longer insure you. Like, what happened? We just can't insure you right now. It's just we just not interested no more. Like, we canceling the policy. We're not dealing with you no more. Hey, what you mean? What are you talking about here? You gonna have to find your own insurance. We can't deal with this. But ain't nothing happened yet because they know something's about to happen. Okay, so she said, when she found out about that, she said, yo, I'm out of there, and they moved back up here to live with her daughter or some shit. While they find their footing. But a lot of people are starting to pick up on the patterns. Okay, the first time it happens, it's by chance. Okay, or coincidence. Oh shit, it's coincidence. All right, first time. Second time, yeah, chances are, what are the chances that this actually happened? Third time, it's a pattern. Third time the same thing happens, that's a pattern. But these Americans, they're gonna sit there, they see all the patterns for decades, and they still can't put the pieces together. To them, it's still random events happening. To the elect, for those who have the eyes to see, these are all steps leading to one thing and one thing only. All right, these are not random events to us. These are steps, okay? And they're all intertwined, all right? They used to do eminent domain. Now they just say, look, we're just going to use our weather modification abilities to destroy the places that people live. And we're just going to steal the land outright. There's nothing they can do about it. All right. By the end of all this, your government will own your lands. They will own your properties. They will own you. Okay. This goes back to the old system of pledging, where they back the people into a corner where they can't fend for themselves. It's not like you're going to grow crops. They're making laws against farmers, farming on the land, calling it, you're not hitting certain codes, or this is, the old school way of doing things does not meet the new way of doing things standard wise, your carbon footprint and all this extra stupid shit they're coming up with. Okay. You're not promoting green and energy saving or energy, blah, 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 whatever shit they come up with. The EPA and this and that. There's a new code. Farmers cannot farm anymore, or you can't grow, crops, or, you can't have a garden or shit like this. Just dumb shit. You can't own a car, and if you want to do this, you have to get this, get the whole permission / access, like all these different things that's going on. Okay, and it goes back to pledging. You have nothing. You have nothing. You own nothing. Literally, you have nothing. You don't own anything of value. Okay, no lands, no houses, no cars, no nothing. Your bank account's about to get plundered. Okay, by the time people realize it's going to be too late, you're going to have bank runs. People going to go crazy. It's going to cause chaos. They're going to bring the military, come in and instill order. Okay? These grocery stores are going to get looted. Okay? Well, in a very short time. Very, very short time. And you're going to see a lot of violence. Okay? When the people lose it, all right, they have nothing to lose, they lose it. Okay? When the people have nothing to lose, they lose it. But that's why you have ICE and you have Palantir, which they're all coupled together. All right, to make sure that they're coming after those who are looked at as dissidents, those who are online speaking negatively against what they're seeing in regards to this whole ICE situation. Okay, you're not speaking in a favorable enough light. They're going to come see you. They have the technology, Palantir, all these different, look, they're coming for people, man. Okay, they're going to come for people. We've been telling you that. All right, we've been telling you that. We've been telling you how they're going to be going house to house, homes to homes. All right, military tanks, military helicopters, okay, military trucks, all right, military men, okay, scary, scary times, man. Robot dogs, drones, okay, you're going to be hearing shootings, you're going to be hearing bombings, you're going to be hearing a whole lot of stuff, crying, screamings, okay, dogs barking, car alarms going off. Just imagine a situation of chaos. Screams, shouting, chaos everywhere, man. And it's going to be in every city. All these major cities, man. Jake is all over there. Okay? Every damn city in America, you got Jake in there, man. Ain't no state that you go away. Oh, ain't no Jake's here. You crazy? Jake's everywhere. All right? It's everywhere. But these inner cities, these major states, these inner cities, man. Ooh, that's why the scriptures tell you. The city shall be troubled and men shall be afraid. Okay, but again, this is all leading to a system of pledging. All right, you have nothing to give. You know what I'm saying? UBI, we're gonna give you the UBI, the universal basic income, but you're gonna have to pay back. You're gonna have to give us something in return. All right, they're saying that people who are relying on the system, all these benefits being cut. If you want to earn any more benefits, you have to work. You have to be a farmer. You're gonna have to take over those jobs that the so-called migrants that they kicked out or arrested, they're gone, so they can't do those jobs. But they need the system to be propped up. So they're going to grab up you Americans who depend on the system, and you're going to have to work to earn what you got. And that's just a stepping stone. They're going to do it to all Americans. You want to buy and sell? Come over here. You know what I'm saying? Give me them hands. Come over here. We got something for you. Okay? Right? So this is the Trojan horse, so to speak, right? It says the intertwining of corporate interests with government oversight creates what the authors call a, quote, surveillance industrial complex. Damn, that's a crazy one right there. End quote. Where health data becomes a currency for compliance. See that? Your health data becomes a currency, not the, but a currency. All right, so it's not just your health data, it's also your behavior. Okay, your behavior also will be, a chain, in a sense, a currency for compliance. Okay, drawing on historical warnings, the article invokes Nat Hentoff's 1996 commentary on physician-assisted suicide, where he cautioned that state decisions, and I believe physician-assisted suicide is death by injection, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, the lethal injection, right? It says where he cautioned that state decisions about who should die for their own good, quote unquote, own good, could lead to, quote, no absolute limits. Okay, that's where the guillotine is going to come in. Okay, it says today the authors suggest wearable data could similarly be used to deem certain individuals, such as the elderly, disabled, or chronically ill, too costly or inconvenient, potentially influencing decisions about insurance, treatment, or even life expectancy. It's crazy. Wow. This is and I always think about this, how Americans are conditioned to live a luxurious life even when they don't got shit. That's amazing to me. I mean, damn, like it's like a weird fascination to look a certain way, or to be like your status is so high, but yeah, you broke. What's the point of that? Why do you live for other people's satisfaction? Or what's this whole, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just weird. It's weird. It's such a weird culture, man. You know, it's like they're not real. These people are not real. They don't have brains in their heads. You know, they got shit for brains. You know, it's like, how do you go around acting like you got something, but you ain't got shit? You don't even know. Like, nowadays, people go to eat based on what they see other people posting. Like, oh, this person said this food is good, let me go try it because somebody said they did. Like, what? You don't have your own appetites? Like, you don't have your own thoughts? You don't have your own things that you like, something that makes you unique? Why you gotta be like everybody else? Because everybody's doing it, you want to do it too? Why? That's the corniest thing I ever heard in my life. Oh, they're all doing it, so let me go do it too. Why? See? That's the herd mentality. You know? And they're gonna, Esau's gonna capitalize on that herd mentality. All they need to do is just push people in the right direction. All right? A little bit of inside jobs here and there, false flags. All right? A little bit of agitation, propaganda, agitprop. Okay? And boom, you got what you're looking for. All right? With the coercion, with the news media and so on and so forth, you're going to get the people to obey to whatever it is that you're pushing. Right? If you do a good enough job of doing away or silencing the resistance, which would be the men of the Lord, start with us. All right? Now, elders and apostles of Great Millstone on down. If you are doing a good enough job to silence those voices, all right, which is impossible. You can't silence the voice of the Lord, but hey, you know, Esau being Esau. Okay, if you do a really good job, you know, try your best, your darnest best to shut us up, then you may stand a chance. May stand a chance. But guess what? According to prophecy, you don't stand a chance. Okay? So I give you a little false hope there. You ain't gonna get nowhere, Esau. All right? You're being exposed on a daily basis. Beautiful thing. All right, so continuing, it says, I also saw another video. This was 2 days ago. And that bald clown, what's his name? Jonathan Greenblatt. All right, that punk, that Jewish punk. He's saying that, over the past 5 years, I'll see if I could put that video in post edits. All right, so you can see for yourself. But he said, the past 5 years, we've seen a rise in anti-Semitic, blah, 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 blah. Here we go again with this nigga. All right, here we go again with these clowns. They God's chosen people, but yet they're always worried about what other people got to say about them. Why? If you're God's chosen people, why are you so worried about people having discussions about you? Wouldn't you be like, oh, yeah, we are God's chosen people. Yeah, you can say whatever you want about us. Guess what? God got us. No, you want to make laws against people asking questions about your authentic origins, who you really are as a nation, as a people, that there's no such thing as a Jewish nation. So you're being brought to question, all right, but you want to make laws against people questioning you. You expose yourselves every day, all right? So continuing back, it says, the article warns how, quote, it says, how long before an algorithm quietly decided whose suffering is too expensive, whose needs are too inconvenient, or whose body no longer qualifies as worth saving. The psychological risks are equally alarming. The infrastructure for profiling individuals based on perceived psychological risks already exists, and wearable data could exacerbate this. The article paints a chilling scenario. Quote, now imagine a future in which your wearable data triggers a mental health flag, elevated stress levels, erratic sleep, a skipped appointment, a sudden drop in heart rate variability. In the eyes of the surveillance state, these could be red flags, justification for intervention, inquiry, or worse. This suggests a future where personal health metrics could be weaponized, not could, will. That's why they created it. Will be weaponized to monitor and control behavior, potentially labeling non-compliance as a form of deviance. Okay, you're deviating from the given narrative/agenda. That alone, you just disagreeing with what's going on, that alone will be deemed a crime. Okay, punishable by death. They want absolute and complete total worship. Okay? Critics on platforms like Twitter have echoed these concerns with users like Gerd Mo Burns warning, quote, your fitness tracker could be a government surveillance tool. Zero Hedge exposes plans to monitor, score, and control you via wearables. Stay informed, stay free, another user, Bobby Baeza 25019, called the initiative tyrannical tracking, okay, branding Kennedy a devil in sheep's clothing. Okay, all of them are devils in sheep's clothing. Okay, it says these sentiments reflect a growing unease about the erosion of privacy under the guise of health initiatives. This sounds very much like what Biden was telling Chief Justice Roberts, okay, back in 2005, that, can a microscopic tag, okay, be, who's his words that he used? Let me see if I can find it. Hopefully I could just pull it up and see if we could just read it real quick. Let me see here. So always, whenever you're doing a lesson and you try to look for stuff, always saying, start fucking with you. So hopefully he stays in his place and allow me to do what needs to be done. Oh, right here. Beautiful. It says here, during the 2005 hearing, Biden called for increased protections for Americans in the face of challenges of the new millennium. He was not announcing a supposed agenda or advocating the implementation of microchips. Rather, ain't nobody said nothing about microchips. He said microscopic tags. How you guys putting this in? Oh, he wasn't advocating for implantation of microchips. It's like you're snitching on yourself now. Relax, okay? Let us do the snitching, okay? It says, rather, he invoked the concept as an example of a key privacy issue that the U.S. Supreme Court could one day rule on. Isn't that why we're here? That's what we're reading. RFK is doing it. Biden states in the clip, can a microscopic tag be implanted in a person's body to track his every movement? What we're reading right now, these people are saying it, right? These people are saying it. These sentiments reflect a growing unease about the erosion of privacy under the guise, it's a disguise, right? Under the guise of health initiatives. Okay? It says, there's actual discussion about that. You will rule on that, mark my words, before your tenure is over. He goes on to give another futuristic hypothetical example when he says, can brain scans be used to determine whether a person is inclined toward criminality or violent behavior? You will rule on that. That's happening right now. They have technology. They're actually building that technology. No, hold up. Let's bring that back. They've already built that technology. And when they were building the technology, they specifically, and I'm saying they in the sense of these tech giants who are behind this so-called technological progression, okay, which is all fulfillment of biblical prophecy, and they don't even know it. But they were openly saying that, look, we're creating these devices, brain chips, and so on and so forth, that can erase somebody's memory. Okay, they have one that once you have it in your they have the system going, and you have the chip and so on and so forth. They could determine something called pre-crime. Before something happens, we could start finding you based on some thoughts you may have, thought crime, so to speak. So we're not punishing you based on the actual thing you did, but we're punishing you based on the perception of you thinking of something that we deem a crime, not an actual crime. Because according to American law, right, a crime can only happen. That's why people go, did I commit a crime? A crime is only when you have a victim. Without a victim, you don't have a crime. So remember that. Cops pull you over, I'm arresting you because of you committed a crime. Where's the crime? If there is no victim, there is no crime. Okay? But anyway, continuing. Let's go back to, let's see. Right here. It says, in his remarks, Biden advocated for the U.S. Supreme Court to interpret the Constitution in a way that would expand on protecting privacy rights. Have they done that? And pressed Roberts on how he would rule on those issues. Quote, for the position you will take in this debate will affect their lives in very real and personal ways. End quote. Biden said to Roberts during the hearing. All right. So there you have it. All right. And people are talking about how this is all part of the NWO agenda, which is what we're saying. Okay. Which is what we're saying because that's what we're seeing. We're just reporting on what we're seeing around the world. Okay. So continuing back in the article, it says, the article also contextualizes this plan within a historical pattern of surveillance technologies, GPS trackers, facial recognition, and smart speakers, each introduced as conveniences but later used for monitoring. It asserts surveillance has always arrived dressed in progress or dressed as progress. Okay? It's like the old saying, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Okay, but hey, we see what this is all about. The fools that trust these devils, that's your problem. Okay, that's your problem. All right, you forbear the words of the Lord, and then you end up in a trap, and then you want to turn around and act like, oh Lord, please, bro. It says it asserts surveillance has always arrived dressed as progress. Kennedy's plan, while not explicitly mandatory, implies that non-participation could marginalize individuals, okay, and that no man by himself, if he either had the mark or creating second-class citizens in a society driven by data compliance. Okay, so that means AI will be the one calling the shots. Are you in compliance with what AI is putting out there? If not, you know what time it is. Oh, you want to run a red light? Oh, okay, no worries. You don't have to do this whole ticket shit. We just take it out your bank account. So everything's connected. We just fine you, right? We just block your account, And eventually they'll shut everything down and be like, hey, listen, now that we got everybody on the grid, come take the C-HIP or else you can never get back into your account. The only way you can get back into your account is by taking the C-HIP because we own you. We dictate what you do and what you don't do, what you can and cannot say. We own you. All right. And that's where we're leading to. Your 401k, your social security, all these different things, they will take away from you. All right. And people are going to give it up. They're going to give it up. Okay. It says here, as wearable technology becomes more integrated into our daily life, the potential for misuse grows. The Zero Hedge article concludes that the government's embrace of wearables is not merely about health, but about expanding control over the inner realm of individuals. It warns that these devices, once symbols of personal wellness, risk becoming digital cattle tags, badges of compliance tracked in real time and regulated by algorithm. As society navigates this new frontier, the balance between health empowerment and authoritarian control remains precarious, demanding vigilance to protect personal autonomy. Okay? And, scriptures tell you that there is no new thing under the sun. As a matter of fact, let's get that real quick. Okay? And then I'll get a quick few verses, and then we're going to close it out, because all these things happening, you've been warned about. Okay, let's get this real quick. In the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 1 and verse 9, it says, "The thing that hath been it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun." Okay? History merely repeats itself. It has all been done before. Nothing under the sun is truly new. Okay? That's Ecclesiastes 1 and 9. So ultimately, you're going to have the same things repeating occurrences, right? They might be done just slightly different, right? But it's the same theme. Okay, and I have a theme here. I'm going to get into this real quick to show you that the same system that has happened before is what you're seeing being built now, but this time on the left-hand side. Okay, here's the book of Genesis chapter 47 and verse 20. It says, "And Joseph bought all the land of Egypt for Pharaoh, for the Egyptians sold every man his field, because the famine prevailed over them, so the land became Pharaoh's." Okay, now I want to go into that word sold real quick. Let me see. I haven't done that yet, so let's do it together live. All right, the word sold looks like the word makar, or makar. Is it mawakar? Okay, and it says here, to sell, seller, to be sold, to sell oneself. It says to be given over to death, to sell oneself. All right, it says here to sell literally, basically selling out, right? It says to sell into slavery, okay, to surrender, all right, to give oneself over to. Okay, so let's keep that in mind, okay? So the Egyptians sold every man his field, all right? They gave up whatever they had because the famine prevailed over them, so the land became Pharaoh's. Okay, isn't that a similar thing that you're seeing now? Insurance companies are turned away from these people. They cannot afford to rebuild their homes that are being destroyed by so-called natural disasters. Okay, fires, water, flood, hurricanes, right? It's all man-made. And in turn, the people have to rely on the government. The lady I was talking to yesterday, once again, she said they're waiting on things like $6,000 or $7,000 from FEMA. They still haven't gotten it, and it's been years. Okay. So when you put people in that kind of situation, you might have a lot of people who might not have the ability to move like they did. They have to stay in the same situation. This is probably all they've had. And it's all gone. What do you think they're going to do? At that point, it's about survival. And when you get knocked down with all your resources have been stripped from you, your homes, your cars, your bank accounts, everything is gone. Food is gone. Okay? And now you have surveillance on top of you. All right? A lot of people are going to give in. All right, they're going to give in. They're going to take the C hit. And life is going to be over for them as they knew it before. Okay? And ultimately, it ends with their ultimate, utter destruction alongside with this place. Okay? But people are going to sell themselves out. They'll sell themselves back to the system. Okay? It says, as for the people, he removed them to cities from one end of the borders of Egypt, even to the other end thereof. All right, in other words, they became slaves. They became servants. Okay? Only the land of the priest bought he not, for the priest had a portion assigned them of Pharaoh, and did eat their portion, which Pharaoh gave them, wherefore they sold not their lands. Then Joseph said unto the people, Behold, I have bought you this day and your land for Pharaoh. Lo, here is seed for you, and ye shall sow the land. You hear that? I will provide you seed. I will provide you the grain. I will provide you what you can and cannot use. Okay? Then Joseph said unto the people, verse 24 says, And it shall come to pass in the increase that ye shall give the fifth part unto Pharaoh, and 4 parts shall be your own. So that's a form of paying tribute. Okay? Paying taxes, so to speak. Right? It says, for seed of the field and for your food, and for them of your households, and for food for your little ones. Okay? And they said, Thou hast saved our lives. Let us find grace in the sight of my Lord, and we will be Pharaoh's servants. You hear that? The thing that has been is that which shall be. Okay? And that which has been done is that which shall be done. Okay? So those things that you read, we just read in the book of Genesis, a similar thing will happen, but Esau is going to do it on the left-hand side. Create a fake false famine, create crises after crises, polycrisis. All right. And then through that, you render the people so helpless and hopeless that they have no other way out except through getting to the system, going back down to Egypt for help. And the only help they're going to give and offer will be that mandatory implementation of the MOTB, or implantation, I should say. Okay. Verse 26, Genesis 47 and 26, it says, And Joseph made it a law. Hear that? A decree. Okay. Who frameth mischief by law, okay? And Joseph made a law over the land of Egypt unto this day, that Pharaoh should have the fifth part, except the land of the priest only, which became not Pharaoh's. Okay? So don't you think Esau could use the same tactic that Joseph used, all right, in order to render the people hopeless enough to submit to the MOTB? You're damn right they will. And that's what we're seeing them building right now, the infrastructure. Okay, to fulfill this biblical prophecy right here, the book of Revelation chapter 13 and verse 16, it says, And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Okay, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. That means you need to have permission granted to you in order to buy and sell. Okay. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. Chi, psi, stigma. Chi, psi, stigma. Okay? And when you look at all into those Greek alphabets, all right, the one that sticks out the most is the last 6. Okay, which goes into the word stizo, which means to stick or to prick. Okay? So we're seeing all these things building up, man. Those who can't see it, man, at this late stage in the game, hey, I don't know what else to say, man. All right. But yeah, get it while you still can. All right. Get it while you still can, because they're making moves. And at any day now, you're going to see something heavy, drastic, that will change and shift, all right, life as you know it for good. Okay. As we enter into the time of troubles and the return of our Lord Yahushua HaMashiach, expect no mercy from these devils. Okay. And they're building up. When they get to that point, they're going to explode. All right? They're going to explode. Okay? Scripture says, well, they're going to come in like a flood. Revelation 12 and 12 says that the devil has come down upon you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. Okay? So anyway, I'm going to leave it off there. Lord willing, you edified and informed. In closing, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Ruach HaKodesh. Thawada Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai. And until next time, Shalom.
A domestic survey in the United States. And what I can tell you briefly is that we've been doing these surveys, I should say, since the 1960s. So we have a lot of information, a lot of longitudinal data. We're a very data-driven, evidence-based organization. And basically, in the last 5 years, intense, elevated anti-Semitic attitudes have more than doubled their share of the population. In 2019, it was 11% of the U.S. population had intense anti-Semitic attitudes. Today, in the last 5 years, it's gone from 11 to 24%. Now, globally, the numbers are even more stark. So when we did our first global survey of 100 plus countries in 2014, and we work with the market research firm Ipsos, based here in Paris, to do these surveys. In 2014, we found that 26% of adults worldwide had entrenched or extreme anti-Semitic attitudes. 26%. That's more than 1 billion people. We thought that was a lot. When we ran the survey last year, in 2024, that percentage went from 26% to 46%. 2.2 billion adults and change. And that's based on almost 60,000 interviews in many different languages all over the planet.